Griffin back again. And you know how we do. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to your favorite podcast. Riffin with Griffin, yeah. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Yeah, Riffin with Griffin. Riffin with Griffin. Riffin with Griffin, yeah. This is Riffin with Griffin. Riffin with Griffin, baby. What's up, y'all? Welcome, chat. Welcome, everybody, live back to your favorite podcast, Riffin with Griffin. On today's episode, I review this show on Apple TV called Invasion. I really like it. Get caught up on the Lizzo story. Man, it's not looking good for her. And a bunch of news and notes around the world. You know how I do. We do it live, off the cuff. These are things in my head. I might even talk about the writer's strike, SAG strike, but either way, you know what's always 100%? Ooh, I lost my breath on that one. It's not always perfect, y'all. But it's always authentically Erik Griffin. Riffin with Griffin. So hello, everybody. Hello, all of my fans, all of my trolls and haters. I know you're here too. This is Riffin with Griffin. Comedy podcast that's not always comedy, but it is always 100% me off the cuff. So welcome. If you're a first-time viewer, thanks for being here. If you're a long-time listener, you know how we do. So make sure you hit the subscribe button so you know I go live on Wednesdays, sometime between 10 and 2. You never know because, life gets in the way, man. So make sure you subscribe. Hit me on Twitch if you like to watch gaming. Just come watch me game. I'm there. It's a lot of fun. It's really more about like all the chatting and the smack talk that goes on the gaming channel, Patreon. You know what? I just reminded myself that I forgot to do my 2 review videos that I was going to do for Patreon. I just been so busy, but I will keep you posted on what's going on in my world. So welcome to Riffin with Griffin, live from the Griffin Studios. Wait, let me go here real quick because I want to go to my profile. I want to thank everybody for being here as always. All right. Anyways, if you're live, thanks for Apple listeners, Amazon listeners, Google, wherever you listen to the podcast. I appreciate that support too, and I would love a comment, especially on Apple. It helps the algorithm, helps push it out. My small but mighty podcast that I appreciate that you guys come every week and whatnot. Okay, so first up, what's been going on with me? It's no real pregnancy news. Rachel's like we're in month 4. 16 weeks. It's like trucking along. She's not as sick as she was, so it's like it's better. Like we went to the movies and that kind of thing. But it is what it is. It's like I just am amazed every day at. As I see her and think to myself, wow, this is what women go through to, make a life. And it's just what it does to their body, what it does to their emotions. And it's just like, man, kudos. Shout out to all women. Man, it's, I wouldn't be able to do it. You know what I mean? So it is something else, man. So there's that. What did I do? So this past weekend, I was in Ohio. So I don't know if you got, I guess some of you know, some of you may not know, but one of my good buddies, who I've known now for a long time is Matt Rife. I've known Matt since he was like 16 years old. You know what I mean? And so I went to Ohio with him because he's working on a new special and, I know him very well. So it's like he wanted me to come out and like look at his set and like, just like give him some notes and thoughts and like help him like, when he comes up with something to be like, oh, I like that, boom, boom, boom. And then even in what was great is at the end of the late show, towards the end, we went on stage together because he told the crowd, like, hey, I'm working out this material and I like to brainstorm. It's okay, I bring Erik out. So then him and I were just on stage together, and it's just like, he's like a grown-ass man now. You don't understand. I knew this guy when he was 15, 16 years old, and he with messed up teeth and wearing a backwards hat and skinny and scrawny. And now he's like a man and a boss, He's got employees, and he's in charge of himself. And I can't tell you enough how proud I am seeing that. And now he's just a multimillionaire. It's just, you know what I mean? It's like he's on a sold out 2-year tour that's sold out. The whole tour is sold out. 2 years. People are buying tickets 9 months, year ahead of time to go see this dude. And he puts on a great show. He doesn't disappoint. It's like all the girls in the crowd that are there because they're so attracted to him, you can see that they're actually having a good time. The boyfriends who don't even want to be there because their girlfriends made them come, by the end of the show, they're having a good time because they're like, yeah, man, because he's like not what you think, and so it's really good to see. And so I'm going again this weekend with him. He's going to be in Atlantic City at some big theater. It's already sold out, so I don't know what to tell you if you're trying to go. But it's like, I don't know. It's amazing. Not everybody would do what I'm doing in my position. Like Matt used to go on the road with me. He would, you know what I mean? And then here I am now. Like, oh yeah. He said, hey, you want to come? I was like, sure, because when you really truly care about somebody, when you really are like family or good friends with someone, your ego don't get in the way of anything. You are supportive of the thing, and I support that. I support him 100%, and so I will go do this. I know not everybody in my position would do that, because people are mostly lip service, words. People care more about their own self-interest. You know what I mean? I love this. I don't know what more to say. It's just, I love this kid. So if you get a chance to go out and see him, go out and see him. But that's great. Yeah, somebody said Bobby opened for Tom. Yeah. There's certain, but what I'm saying is this though. There are certain people who are like so big that it supersedes that. Like there are certain people that are like, if somebody's in an arena, you go, okay, I could go do that. This was a comedy club. You know what I mean? It's like he just became big. Like he still is dealing with all the haters who don't think he deserves it. I love that. He's got this billboard on Sunset for his tour, and it's near the Comedy Store. And there's so many haters at the Comedy Store who are just like, oh, yeah, he's just this and that, And then they have to drive to the Comedy Store and see his billboard for his sold-out world tour. It's like, and he's young. He's only 27, so it's like people are still, people still think that this is how comedy's supposed to be done, that kind of thing. You know what I mean? But it's like, I actually laugh in my head now when I'm standing with somebody who starts to hate on him, because it happens a lot. You'd be surprised. The comedy community is a bunch of cowards. You know what I mean? Just a bunch of petty cowards, a lot of them. And they're like, saying whatever they're saying. And then you're just like, okay, all right. So how should he do it? So it's like if you give somebody the two options. The first option is, put your air quotes up, everybody, do it the right way, whatever that is, right? Okay, so if you had the choice, like, be like this, like what you think, some respect you think you're getting by doing comedy a certain way and no one ever see it. It never has mass appeal at all. Or go on a sold out tour where you're going to make $40 million. You tell me which one that purist would pick. You know what I mean? It's like, and then so it's like I always tell Matt, I'll be like, don't be petty, like don't have a chip on your shoulder. Don't worry about it because you won. It's like when you win, you win. I believe he's on Rogan. I think he's going to be on Rogan. He's going to be on Segura's podcast. So I want to see what the haters are going to say after that. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. Much love to the kid. It is what it is. All right. So let's go on to let's get some comments. Let's get some comments. You know how we do. We go to the comments. Nate796, I stumbled on you from Bobby and used to watch your workaholics in high school. Absolutely need more entertainment reviews with Yoda and Grogu. Bobby and Steve. Guys, it's never going to happen, okay? I know you guys love the couple of episodes I did with the Lee brothers. It's done. It's over. That's why it hasn't happened again in 5 years or however long ago. That was like episode 10 or something like that we did that. It's never going to happen again, okay? But thank you. I appreciate you guys still watching those episodes, all right? Forever Hungry Music. This is a comment about when I was talking about, the stuff on the internet. It says Erik, spelled incorrectly, which, that's annoying. Erik, just so you know, no parent really knows what they are doing. You realize your parents didn't know either. I have 2 daughters. One is 8 and the other is 4. We all worry if what we are doing is the right way. Remember, there's no right way. It's my way. Do it your way because we are all learning as we go. And the comment goes on, but I understand exactly what you're saying about that, But it's like at least there's a shared community of parents out there that that's one of the good things about the internet is, people put their information out there. Then you can kind of parse through all of the different things and be like, oh, that looks good, especially even if it's just like reviews of products, people might be like, hey, we like these diapers for this reason, oh, here's a little tip when the baby's sleeping to do this, all these little things you can pick up and at least that knowledge is out there and you just have to decide for yourself what you think is the best thing. So, I get that, it just, it's tough. You know what I mean? Anyway, let's see. Oh, then last week. Okay. So a lot of people made a comment about the bear from last week where it looked like a man in a suit, right? But apparently that's been debunked. So Noah Morado said, it's a real bear. Just Google bears walking on 2 legs. I can't believe that many people actually think it's a damn human in there. The bear looks a little skinny, but Jesus, get in tune with nature more. So let me get this straight, Noah. You want us to get in tune with nature about the bear that's in a cage at the zoo. People like hearing themselves talk in their head, and they just write things because it sounds good, In his head, he was like, I'm going to tell everybody off. Get in touch with nature. Okay, man. But I know what you mean. I'm just teasing you. Let's see. Andrew Kodalewski 3230. I know I didn't say that right. He goes, as far as the constant conflicting info on the internet, I feel you. It's extremely stressful as a parent having to also somehow become a PhD on every subject. It's something I struggle with, but honestly, it's trial and error. Every generation has done things wrong, and yet most of us are right. You already know it's nuanced. Thank you. And if you're there and you're trying your best and even do some research, it means you're on the right path. It's exactly what we were just talking about, So thanks, man. I appreciate that. Let's see. Yes, there's somebody else. This was 4 years ago. Do it again, please. That's the Bobby and Steve one. 4 years ago. I can't believe that was 4 years. Let's see. I don't know. There's a lot. I had a couple of comments like marked. Whatever. But anyway, thanks for the comments. And you guys in chat too that are live, commenting live. If you have questions and whatever, I forgot to do that. Let me put that up and get ready to go with that. When you start my Q&A. What you got, y'all? So if you have something, You can put your question in chat, and I'll look there too. But anyways, let's see what's going on this week. Nothing too much, like I said. So I'm doing this indie movie. We got approved by SAG. There's like 200 projects that got approved. Because like, so these independent projects are abiding by what SAG is asking for before negotiations. So it's actually like SAG is asking for, say, this amount of money, and they're asking for this amount of residuals. They're asking for, and so they have that on the table of what they're asking from the studios and stuff, right? So if you want to do an independent movie right now, you needed to follow those rules. You're saying, okay, we will pay you this amount, and then whoever buys the project, whoever buys the independent project, they also have to abide by this pre-negotiated, because it's like probably the higher rate than what, when it's all said and done, it's probably going to be less than what people are going to get. But if they want this project, they're going to have to pay this. So, I don't know. Sometimes I have mixed feelings about it, only because of like weird perceptions that people have. It's like, because like today they just announced that SAG is no longer going to allow. They just said SAG-AFTRA will no longer approve indie projects. Because it's like there's so much misinformation and so much backlash that people are receiving because of it, that they're just like, all right, you know what? Then nobody work. And there is a school of thought that that's what people think. It's like, are we on strike or not? Because people don't get the information that like what these small production companies, what these small indie productions are saying is like, this is not a lot what the actors and writers are asking for. So we're willing to pay that. Why can't the big companies that make, $30 billion a year, why can't they do that? So that's, but the internet, people cave. It's like it's so hard to parse through all of the information. So SAG is just like, you know what? That's it. Just nobody work. That's just where they're at now. So it's tough because we're about to start this thing, But regardless, it's a great little project. I love the writer-director. I think she even listens to my podcast. I'm not going to say people's names because of this whole thing, too, because I don't want people to get hate for no reason, misinformation. But, so this is, okay, I just want to give you a little thing for me, okay? So I've talked about this before, like on my podcast, on the previous episodes. It's like, when you're like, I'm usually like the funny guy, I'm usually like, I'm comic relief, or I'll be like 5, 6, 7 on a call sheet, as that person, you know what I mean? So you have like the stars, and then here we go, and then like here I come doing my thing, I might be in like an ensemble cast, like I'm Dying Up Here, where there was like 9 of us, right, or however many there was, and you had people that were like, oh, this is the star, quote unquote, of the show, but I had equal parts in like a show like that, but you don't have to carry the load because there's so many people. But this is going to be one of the first times in this any movie where it's like, I think I'm number 2 on the call sheet. You know what I mean? And it's like, it's a great story about, a couple in their 50s, There's not a lot of that stuff out there. It's always, everybody's got to be young. And it's like, but there are stories for people of age that they want to see too. And so I commend the writer director on, especially as somebody in their 50s is like, yeah, I still want to work. I don't want to pretend to be 41 all the time, right? Or 39, you know what I mean? 'Cause I'm looking good. So then we started, we've been like getting together and kind of like going over the script, and like, so we had this great thing yesterday where we were like, where we're going to shoot. And then it was like, all right, so let's go through some of the scenes and get to know, and the lead actress, she's great. You know what I mean? And she's like, but we had these great talks. But here's the reason why I'm saying this. When I'm really like, when I was on Workaholics, this is going to sound crazy to people, but I never watched Workaholics. I didn't watch it. It wasn't for me. They weren't speaking to me. That wasn't my jam. It just, and then like with the scripts for Workaholics, it would be like Montez enters with Bill, says nonsense and leaves. And that would happen like once or twice in an episode. There was no need to read the whole script. These guys would be like, did you read the script? I was like, no, I read Montez's part. I know I'm going to come in. It has nothing to do with the story. It doesn't move the story. It's just Montez says nonsense, leaves room, and you never see him again. That's all that's all it is. Right. So then even sometimes when it was like, even in like, murder mystery was like, I was hired way late. It was just like an opening scene with Sandler and then like another scene, a phone call scene. And that was it. There's no need to read the whole script. I don't care. It's like, I don't care what happens. Like I can read my little part and be like, oh, okay, I know what this nonsense is. So now cut to your number 2 on the call sheet in a indie dramedy sort of, it's like a comedy dramedy, right? And there's arcs now, so now your character starts this way and then it ends up this way. So it's like, you have to like know the whole script. What I learned yesterday, it's like, you have to sort of like memorize everything, know the material backwards and forwards. So because we don't shoot, you shoot out of order too. So like you might like day 1 might be page 20 on the script. And you have to know that, by this point in the script, I'm feeling a certain way because of things that have happened on page 4. And it's new. It's like, it's new for me, it's challenging, but like, so I'm super open to the whole process. And I love working with people who are like, listening. And that's, if you're trying to be an actor out there, my biggest advice for you is like, listen, like truly listen and trust your instincts, even in the scene. So like, if the actor is giving you, your scene partner is giving you something that makes you feel a way that you want to react a certain way, then react that way. Because then when it's time to stop and talk about the scene, someone might be like, ooh, I don't know if that's the director, writer, or whoever's in charge might be like, ooh, that's not the reaction we wanted right there. But your point is like, well, but this is the reaction I'm going to give if this is what this person's going to give me. And then you're all working together, because then your partner might be like, oh, you know what? I might need to take some emotions off of that, or so I can lead you in a different way. But you just got to trust and listen. You can't just be in a scene and just do whatever you think you want to do. You think, well, this is what I think this is. No, you have to like, and that's the give and take. That's like this like symbiotic relationship that you have with everybody on set. With the lighting, with where the camera is, you have a relationship with all these things, because you might know that the camera's like over here and it's giving you, so that you need to be seen right there. So you're gonna move a certain way, make sure that you're not off camera, make sure you're not backside. All of these things are like listening and being aware and using all your senses, and it's just like it's very challenging. You know what I mean? It's very challenging, and it's great. I realize it's like, why do I enjoy acting? It's like, for this reason right here. It's just like, you take somebody else's words, and make them your own. Breathe life into this like character that's not you, and maybe this is just a portion of who you are. Maybe this is someone you've always wanted to be, and now you get to be this person. Or sometimes it's someone you're like, ugh, I would never be this person. And you're tapping into places in yourself that you'd be like, ugh, I'm glad I don't live like this all the time. So it's not a natural thing. You know what I mean? It's not, it makes you it could be weird. So, but regardless, I'm looking forward to doing this project. So I'm going to be super busy. You know, it's like, I don't even know, like my podcast, I might have to like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do my podcast live on Wednesdays in September. I just thought about that. So it might be one of these things is like get home late. I might, or I might do it like, you know, I get off set and I'll do it late at night. I'll have to schedule and see how it goes. So look out for that actually moving forward. But anyways, shout out to that. All right. What else we got going on today is, man, dude, it looks like Lizzo, dude. Like she, you know, I talked about it last week, man. Man, they, like, the internet justice is swift. Like, the amount of people that have turned on Lizzo and just like, I don't even know how I feel about it. The thing is, like, I don't know Lizzo. I don't know if this stuff is true or not, but it doesn't matter if it is. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, she has been tried by the internet court, found guilty, and everyone has turned their back on her. I mean, shout out to Beyonce, by the way, because Beyonce, and that's why my title today is called No Loyalty, you know? Like, loyalty is not something that people care about anymore. There's no loyalty. There's no loyalty. You know, it's like people make a calculation, a self-serving calculation in the entertainment business now. And everyone, because of everyone's silence throughout the whole process, you know, this is what happens. So this is the calculation. People go, so say an allegation comes out about someone or some bad press comes out about someone. And if you know this person, if you're friends with this person, if you're a colleague of this person, even if it's a casual relationship with this person, you make the calculation that it is better to turn on this person, to shun this person, and be with the mob and lose that relationship. That's the calculation people make. They go, I'd rather lose that relationship and be perceived as a good person than to show any kind of loyalty. Because on the internet, if you're friends with someone who has an allegation against them, it means you condone it. That's what the internet thinks. Even though we know nothing. So like if you're friends with Lizzo, if you've worked with her before, now all of a sudden you have to be like, oh, well, I'm done with her. Where it's like, did you talk to her? Do you know what's going on? I bet that we don't know all the information about this, you know? And even if it comes out, let's say it comes out as like she was doing all this stuff and she was like, you know, maybe she wasn't a nice person. You know what I mean? She was out here being a boss and like, you know, telling people whatever. She was like feeling their hype. You could still be her friend. Like you could still be friends with someone and be like, that have gone through something and done something bad and be like, yo, come on. Like behind the scenes, I don't have to share that with the internet. That's what the internet thinks. The internet thinks that people have to share every intimate moment, every conversation. They have to explain every relationship to the internet. You don't have to. But no one appreciates loyalty. You know what I mean? Nobody appreciates loyalty. So I've said it in the past, I think that Lizzo shouldn't have been hanging out with her employees. You know, they're on the record as talking about some of the things I've read is that like some of these dancers were already reprimanded for their how they were acting on the road. You know, Lizzo's denying all of this. She's like, this is like my character's in question. So now we don't know. And the sad part about it is not that we will ever really know, but the internet doesn't care. So the judgment has been made. Lizzo's out. You've been canceled. We're moving on from you. There's not going to be any retractions. There's not going to be any like follow-up stories. There's not going to be any story that they're not going to come out and be like, oh, turns out this was a frivolous lawsuit and you know, Actually, it's like that's never going to come out. It's like these news outlets are like, we're going to ruin her because that sells papers. That gets clicks. And when you get these clicks on the websites, there's nothing but ads. I'm going to show you an example of what I'm talking about right now. And even the headlines, like, so this headline right here is crazy, man. So I think Megyn Kelly's on Fox, whatever, but she goes, the headline is, Megyn Kelly defends morbidly obese Lizzo's rights to fat shame her dancers and suggests that assume the risk of uncomfortable sexual scenarios by working for a degenerate. Okay, what a headline, right? my God, what a damning headline, because I'm not necessarily, I don't condone any bad behavior. But I already said I don't think we know what really happened. But I do support Lizzo's the boss. She's the star of the show. I don't care if she's fat or not. She's the star. If she don't want her dancers to be a certain way, that's her right. This is her vision. So, but like the way this Daily Mail, look at this page, guys, and you wonder why they write articles like this. Look at this. It's all advertisement. The whole thing on the page is advertisement. It's like, so are you really giving us news, or is this all clickbait? Is that what it's all about? So what I'm saying is like, because I'm 51. So, and we were probably wrong in the past, but it looked in the past, you would use the newspapers and magazines and news on TV as like, if it got there, it must be true. That is a school of thought that people had. Okay, that's just how we thought about the world. If it was on the news, it must be true, because we thought that these news outlets and newspapers had some sort of integrity, that they had some sort of laws that they had to like follow, and they couldn't put false things in their paper. And so if it made it to the news, we would be like, well, this must be true. Well, turns out that's not true, y'all. It's just not true. Like, this is all clickbait society. And I wish it was that way. I wish that if an article about someone came in the paper, that we would know, well, they must have evidence that this is true. But it turns out it's not. It turns out that they don't have evidence. This is all speculation. It's all allegations. It's all, it's stirring up people's feelings so people could be like, ooh, let me go see what's happening, talk about it on podcasts or whatever, right? And then, it just to ruin someone's life to get clicks. Now, if all of this stuff is true, and then how about this too? It's like, how many people were so silent? So now all of a sudden, people are coming out like, a director's like, yeah, you know what? I was working with her, and turns out she's a terrible person. Another person's like, oh yeah, I used to work for her. But it's like, where the fuck were you when this was going on? Where were you? Everybody's silent, Everybody's silent because, and it's like, I don't actually fully blame people for this, because it's all this like weird circle of life in terms of like all the crap people get. So like, if you would have come out, if 6 months ago you would have come out and said something about Lizzo, you'd be, oh, you're fat shaming or you're racist. It's like, well, she's black, that's why you're saying this. She's fat, that's why you're saying this. She's a queen. It's like, now all these people are coming out like, oh, well, actually, this is how I really feel about obesity. This is what I really feel about, like, and now everybody's got their things because now it's okay. That's cowardly. You know what I mean? It's just like, I guess you got to be a nice person, right? Because now more than ever, the lesson you learn from this is like, treat people well, because later it's going to come out. It's going to come out like this, and it's going to be presented in a way that you're going to be looked at as a monster, no matter who it is. No matter who it is. But there's no, like I say, there's no loyalty. People make that calculation in their head. They go, oh, people are not liking this person anymore. Oh, allegations came out. Oh, well, you know what? That person's the devil. And now I have to come out and let everybody know, I disassociate myself with this person because, no, hey, listen, I'm telling you right now that having loyalty for your friends is not bad. And whatever you do behind the scenes with your friend to talk to them about what they've done or what people are saying they've done or, or whatever their part is in this to make this come out like this, you can have private conversations with them to be like, yo, what you doing? Like, I would hope people around Lizzo will be like, girl, what's going on? Like, if I was in Lizzo's camp, I'd be like, girl, you shouldn't be hanging out with your employees. These are employees, Don't be drinking with your employees. Hey, you know what? Stay humble. I try to be like that with Matt Rife. I'll tell him. I keep it 100 with him. When he might hit me up and be mad about some stuff, I'll be like, yo, dude, don't be petty about that. You don't need to do that. I make sure, like, if I see something around it, and that's because I care about him. He's my friend. I love this kid. People around Lizzo, her real friends, I hope that they show her some loyalty and be like, hey, girl, I support you. I'm sorry that these things are happening, and point out, like, you shouldn't have done this, this, and this. Her friends don't need to say that publicly to make themselves feel like they're a good person. I don't care if you think I'm a good person or not. It shouldn't be that. It should just be like, being loyal should be celebrated. Also, there's some value in being loyal to your friends. You know what I mean? It's like, what are we talking about? And so, again, just because you are loyal to your friend doesn't mean you condone bad behavior. It doesn't mean that. It's like, but the internet is so absolute. And so I feel bad. Like, that's what, anyways, I want to shout out to Beyonce, actually. So there was one report that Beyonce took her name out of the song at a concert. That she was like, there's some line in the song and people are saying like, ooh, Beyonce took her name out. And then Beyonce, shout out to her, because then at her other concert, she made sure to say, what does she say? I love you, Lizzo, on stage so people can hear it. Because it's like, yeah, good. Like, it's like, what are you going to, people are going to be cancel Beyonce? And I don't know. It's just, I think that that's commendable too, And again, let me say this again. Just because Beyonce is like, hey, I love you, I support you, Lizzo, doesn't mean she condones bad behavior. She's just showing some support for her friend. You know what I mean? Anyways, that's all I have to say about that. And it's like, anyways, it's like, that's actually not all I have to say. It's just, I hate that we live in a world that you can't believe everything you see on TV, the internet, that it's all about clickbait and profit. It's all, that's all that it is. There's no due process, there's no it's like reality and the court of law and the internet justice. It's crazy how far apart they are. It's crazy. We don't know really what's going on. Even something at the highest level of what's happening to Trump right now. I don't know what's going to happen. Like, if this guy runs for office and wins, what was all this? Did you have any real evidence? Is there anything real happening? Because it's supposed to work like this. A person gets accused of something. The police investigate this. If they have enough evidence, there's an indictment. That indictment leads to a court trial. And then at the trial, the person has to defend themselves. If they don't do it successfully, they are, they're put in jail, or they're, Or they're convicted of something, like, there's due process that is just not happening on the internet. They don't care. No one cares about due process on the internet. No one even cares about what's actually going on in reality. You know what I mean? Like, a person's accused of something. There's no arrest. There's no court documents. There's nothing. It's just people saying shit and nothing happened. Like literally zero things happened in real life. But on the internet, they're guilty. You're whatever. Then just put whatever they were accused of. Now it's that. You're this because I saw it on the internet. You know what I mean? Like, we don't know what we don't know what happened. We don't know what happened. And they don't actually have to tell us, because in the real world, there's due process. But now, when companies come in and get involved and they make the calculation I said earlier, they make that calculation. You know, the companies make a calculation. Adidas, what they did with Kanye West. Adidas made a calculation. They went, oh man, and they didn't want to. Trust me, they didn't want to, and they were like, oh man, Kanye, why did you go so hard in the paint about Jews? If you didn't want to be in this contract, you know, let's work it out. But you had to do it like that. So then they went. There was a moment. I'm sure they were like, oh my God, we're gonna lose They had to sign $1 billion check, really, in goodwill, you know. So Adidas was like, okay, well, here's what we have to do. All right, we have to cut ties with this guy, and they lost billions, right? Was it worth it? Because all the people that virtue signaled and came out and was like, Adidas, how could you be in business with him? Did they go out and be like, when they canceled their contract with Adidas, did they then go out and be like, because you did that, we're gonna go buy your products? They didn't do that, right? I think they could have weathered the storm. I think they could have just been like, look, the dude made a mistake. We don't agree with the things he's saying, but here we go. Like, we talked about this on the Golden Hour, right? Check out the Golden Hour about Lizzo. Like, Lizzo was removed from the Super Bowl halftime. I hope Deshaun Watson makes it to the Super Bowl. I hope he makes it to the Super Bowl. That would be great. The hypocrisy of it all. Imagine Cleveland with Deshaun Watson is in the Super Bowl and Lizzo can't perform with no trial or nothing. This is, you know what I mean? Like, Deshaun Watson settled with all these women. He basically admitted, like, he was like, yeah, he had to, like, apologize. Oh, man. That would be poetic. That would be like, that would be put in our faces, our complete hypocrisy, if that happened. But who knows? But anyways, it is what it is, man. So I hope that, you're out there and you want to just have your own thoughts. You know what I mean? Like, just because you see something on the internet, it doesn't mean that it's real, and it doesn't mean that it's not real either. That's the thing. We actually don't know enough information. This is not enough information that people give like this. We don't know what's going on behind the scenes. And you have to understand the motivation of, like, a lot of these news outlets is just for clicks. It's just for clicks, man. And because you go to the website that you clicked because you saw this headline, and then you look, and it's like it's like being at a stadium. You ever been to, like, a basketball game, a football game at a live? Man, there isn't a direction you can look without seeing ads. It's like, this is brought to you by this, that's brought to you by that. And then you just kind of like, you just got to focus on the game, but you just look up a little bit and you'll see an ad. Next time you go to a game, I just want you to look in any direction and you will see an ad. Yeah, we have to remember that is the reason why this kind of stuff is put out without all the facts. You know what I mean? It's something else, man. It's crazy. Yeah, man. Yeah, so I see somebody in the chat is asking about that Blindside story, you know? There's some questions in here. Well, let me go to the questions in the chat right. Oh man, wow, it's already 45 minutes. It's crazy. I'm really going in today. I didn't even get to the stuff I wanted to talk about. Any thoughts on the preseason football? I will do a preseason football thing. I haven't started talking about football yet, but I will. When is the baby due? Sometime in January. It looks like January 27th is the date. I will be getting on Twitch. If I could have any guests on my pod, who would it be? I'd love to talk to Bieber. I'd love to sit down and find out what's going on in his head, you know? Are you gonna find out the gender? Oh, I already you're not a fan because I've already put that information out. What are my plans on my professional life and fatherhood? I have no idea. That is such a great question. I don't know how I'm gonna balance this all. I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm probably going to have to game less. I'm probably going to have to I don't know what I'm going to do actually. It's like I've lived my whole life. Like I've lived a full life, I feel like, you know, and now I have to start a whole new chapter of life and how to, you know, so we'll see. That's a great question and I'll keep you guys posted on that. Let's see. Do I like Star Wars games? Yeah. You know, and then the next thing is I'm looking for in my neighborhood where I live I'm looking for a trainer. I'm looking for some place to go. I got my what do you call my rowing machine, and just being 100 honest, I haven't been on it in a little while. So I have to now. I'm planning on this last 5 months before this baby is due. Is I'm going to take this 5 months and just really work on me, get in a routine so I could be healthy, you know. So, hold me accountable. You know what I mean? I think I'm not one of these people that's oh, you're fat shaming. I think shame is good. I think when somebody's hey, what's going on? You don't got to be mean about it, though. That's the thing. You could be hey, man, I think you should get in shape. But be you know what? You're right. But anytime I see something like that, though, I'm ooh, you know what? I don't like people saying that, even this picture of me and Matt, I saw myself and I was damn, I look huge. And I was uh-oh. So it really inspired me. I was oh, I got to get myself together. So, that's an important thing. And, being a father is just being able to be there. They come running down the street. I got to be able to run after them or something, right? I can't be slow down, and have a heart attack when my kid is running into traffic. You know what I mean? So those are the kind of things you have to think about. All right. Let's. I want to go over this story real quick because we only got a little bit of time left. So, there was this dude, did you guys see this? Did you guys see this freaking woman and her python? I won't even have to look at this shit. This snake attacks her, right? And they're trying to, okay, let's get the snake off of her, right? And then the guy filming is should I stop filming? And they're no, keep filming. And then, they're just trying to, and then their whole attitude is it's oh, snakes are good. Don't worry. This doesn't normally happen. And then they're trying to get this snake off of her. Let me be perfectly clear. For all you idiots out there who always send messages about, oh, snakes are pets. A snake is not a pet, okay? Pets know they're pets, all right? When a dog bites its owner, we kill that motherfucker. It's gone, okay? When a dog bites the owner, we go, well, the dog has now realized, the dog has now lost it. We got to put it down. That's what happens in these situations. That's what happens. But with this, we want to act well, look, if your pet, quote unquote, if it gets hungry or agitated and it will attack you, that's not a pet. Hello? Even cats have the respect to only eat you after you're dead. Okay? They always say a cat will eat its owner if they die. Because the cat's well, I'm hungry. So, dogs don't do that. Dogs will die next to their owner. But cats will. But the cats wait at least. Look at this. This chick is fucking bleeding. You know what I mean? It's like when I see that, I have absolute zero sympathy for any owner of a monkey that gets their face gnawed off. Anybody that has a cat or a spider, like, you know what I mean? Like you get people that got tarantula aquariums and stuff. If you get bit, bye. I have this woman. I have zero sympathy for her. You think you know when you see like a dude that works with lions, he got one hand and one leg, and you're like, and then they blame themselves. They go, well, you know, it's my mistake. Yeah. It's your mistake. Your mistake was thinking that that's not a wild ass animal. That was your mistake. You think this python wants to be in this little ass cage? This python is like, okay, you gave me 2 mice. When I'm out in the jungle, I could eat as much as I want. Now I have to be on your food schedule? Like this python is like, yo, bitch, get me out of here. It's crazy. So many people, like, when we talked about this on the Golden Hour, King and the Sting, and these like snake people be like, oh, Griffin, you don't know what you're talking about. Nah, man. You don't know what you're talking about, okay? That's not a pet, okay? Snakes are not a pet. You're an abuser, all right? That's what you are. That snake has been kidnapped, and trust me, it's acting okay now because it's trying to escape. And the first chance it gets to bite you and try to get the hell out of there, it will take it. Nonsense. Okay. What else we got here? Oh, man, I have my crazy internet stories. Let's just go through them briefly. You know, here we go. Social media madness. I'm so sick of hearing about Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk. Are they going to fight or not? Like, who cares? You rich fucks. Who cares? Okay? That's going to be the saddest fight ever. Talk about rich entitlement. Like, what? The fact I'm so mad at myself that I even have to talk about this. Who cares? Who cares? Guys, move on. You're destroying the world with your nonsense. You have too much money, too much influence, too much power, and you're distracting us with this bullshit. Move on. So sick of them. Next. This was hilarious to me. Speaking of spiders. See, Australia, I don't know if you've ever been to Australia. They got wild ass animals just all over the place. Dangerous. So this spider, Austrian, not even Australia. I didn't even see it. I thought it was Australia. It's Austrian. This is crazy. Austrian supermarket shut down due to spider that can cause long, painful erections. Wow. I mean, talk about erectile dysfunction. And then I didn't even know Austria had this kind of animal problem. But damn, imagine you get bit by a spider and you are just rock hard and you just like, oh man, I'm running out of time. You know what? We're going to come back to the rock hard erections on another episode. And shout out to Cristiano Ronaldo for being the first person to have 600 million followers. Like, my goodness. Isn't it crazy that these soccer players have like 600 million followers and we're just kind of like blah about soccer in the United States? Like, that's like, how influential is this guy that he has 600 million followers? All right, guys, I'm watching this show Invasion on Apple TV. I really like it. It's this. So Earth is visited by alien species that threatens humanity existence. Events unfold in real time through the eyes of 5 ordinary people. So what I like about this show, and I'm realizing more and more that I love when shows deal with relationships and how whatever the events of the sci-fi fantasy world that they've created for us, how the people maneuver through that and the relationships that happen, I think that's what it's really about. That's what makes it really good to me. But if you want to see like alien stuff, I mean, oh man, you're gonna be disappointed if you're looking for like alien fighting and really seeing the monsters in the first 7 episodes. You know what I mean? It's crazy, but it's a great building of relationships and following these people and how they're dealing with this. And so that's what I do like about it, because they actually film like, it's like throughout the episodes, it's like people, it's not like everybody knows each other. It's like they're going to like 5 different places. Like they're in Japan. They're following this soldier. They're following these British kids. They're following this couple who like they're going through some marital issues, and then there's during an alien invasion, how would you deal with that, right? And they got kids, and so I think it's a good watch. I would recommend it. I recommend watch if you have Apple TV. I would recommend watching Invasion. Somebody had recommended it in chat one day, and so I actually watched it, and I think it's completely worth watching. So I'll do a more extensive review on Riffin with Griffin, and for Patreon, check that out. But guys, I want to thank everybody for watching the podcast. I really appreciate you guys as always. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the notifications so you can get when I'm going live, or when I'm putting up, because I'm putting up stand-up videos. I'm doing all that, so make sure you make sure you get on there so you can see when that's coming on. And, I'm always on Twitch. I'll be on Twitch sometime later today. Me and my boys, we did that carnivore diet sketch. We're doing some more sketches today, so I'm going to go film that right after this. I actually have to bust out of here. That's why I'm kind of rushing to finish. So make sure you guys check that out. And as I said, make sure you hit the like, subscribe, and if you want to, you could be a Twitch, you could be a Twitch follower, subscriber to help support me. You could be a Patreon. You could be a YouTube member. Those are all the different ways that you can support me on, support the show, man. So I do appreciate you guys constantly being here. You guys have been great, and you know what time it is. Oh, it's time for that rap recap. Lizzo got clapped. Now she back. Everybody calling her fat. What they lack? Loyalty. Here on Riffin with Griffin.
Everybody was so goddamn worried about.
Oh yeah. Apple TV.
I never wanted to be no star.
Watch Invasion so you can see. That's a good show. On this Erik Griffin flow. Hey, now you know. Daddy gotta go. Show some loyalty. Hey, show some loyalty. I thank you for your loyalty watching Riffin with Griffin. If you want to send me a beat for the rap recap, just send me an email at eric@ericgriffin.com. Guys, thanks for watching Riffin with Griffin, and I'll see you next week.